Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the National Timely Action Hour podcast. This is the show where we talk about everything from comic books to Star Wars and everything in between. My name is Aiden and I am your host. Today we are on Season 2, Episode 10, the Top 10 Iron Man Armours, in my opinion. So feel free to disagree with me, or if you have some of the same ones on your list, let me know. So we're going to start off with number 1, my personal favorite armor that Iron Man has worn, and that is the Model 8, aka the Silver Centurion. Now, this first appeared at a point when Iron Man was still dealing with his alcoholism, and for a time his best friend James Rhodes was taking over as Iron Man while Tony Stark recovered. And at this point in the story, Jim was very ill, and it had turned him into a destructive force on the city. So Tony had to don the suit, and he had to go save his friend. And it stuck around for several years, actually, and it is my favorite suit because, A, the look of it is just awesome. It's got the cherry red mixed with silver on the arms, legs, and faceplate, and it also has upgraded technology like the chameleon effect that allows him to be more stealthy. It's sort of like in Batman Beyond, how that suit, when you twist the belt buckle, it has a chameleon effect so he can blend in. And it has enhanced thrusters so that he can fly faster, and it has the unibeam effect, which was new at the time, so he can shoot a beam out of his arc reactor chest piece, and it's just awesome. And I know that the shoulder pads are a little cheesy, but it was the 1980s. A lot of people had that. It was the fashion, but I like it. It adds sort of the angular effect to it, and I just think that this suit is awesome design-wise and functionally. And moving on to number 2 is the Model 1, the first armor that he made with Ho Yin Sen, and it was awesome in my opinion. Not only design-wise, but functionality. It has the bulletproof feature. It's bulletproof. It has the thrusters. It has the repulsor blasts from the palms, and it can fly. And it has this ability to. The hands have magnets, so it can draw weapons away from assailants. So he used that to take guns out of criminals' hands and knives, and open stuff up. It was really cool. And then later on in the next few issues, he upgraded it to the Model 1 Volume 2, or the Model 1.2 or 2.0, where it had the gold design instead of the steel or the iron. And the gold design also added the rocket rollerblades. They're cheesy, but I think they're fun and cool, because it's like something to quickly go through a building and then, use the thrusters to fly out. And that's the one that he wore in the first issue of the Avengers. But the Model 1 is iconic, it's classic, and I love it. Then moving on to number 3, we have the Model 2, which has the horns on the faceplate. It just, not really horns like Daredevil, it just goes up past the forehead and sort of goes up to mimic like Batman ears. And this had improved technology, and it became the basis for most future suits. The Model 2 was the classic design because later on he made a quote-unquote improvement to bring the faceplate so it's the classic one that we all know. But I just think that the Model 2 is really cool, and it was designed by the great Steve Ditko, creator of Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Blue Beetle, the Creeper, Captain Atom, the Question, Speedball, and other characters. And then number 4, we have Model 13, the modular armor. This first appeared in 1994, and this is the armor that he wore in the 90s cartoon, which I love. And the modular armor allowed Stark to add various different things onto it, so he could add the Hulkbuster armor, which came out a few issues after this one debuted. So he just put extra parts on it so he can fight the Hulk and survive. And it was just really cool. He could quick change parts so that he could adapt to any situation that he found himself in. Then we have the model, at number 5 we have the Model 3, which is the one that he wore throughout the late 60s and up until the late 70s, and it's just a really, really cool design that has stood the test of time. And it improved on the Model 2, and it is just really cool and iconic and awesome. Then at number 6 we have the Model 11, nicknamed the War Machine, worn by War Machine, aka James Rhodes, Tony Stark's best friend. And I don't know what else I can say. The War Machine is badass. It's awesome. It has the guns, the missiles, the repulsors. It's got the slick black and gray color scheme. It's very bulky, but it's awesome. Then at number 7, we have the Iron Man of 2020. So in the 1980s, there was this series called Iron Man of 2020, where it's like, what will Iron Man look like in the year 2020? And it's not Tony Stark, it's his brother Arno Stark, but, you know, it's a really cool character, and it's got the cool design. It's sort of got like teeth on the mouthpiece, and it's got ribbed, sort of gear-looking shoulders, and since it's futuristic at the point when it was created, at the time of recording it's December 2022, so it's 2 years obsolete already, but at the time it was futuristic, it was sci-fi, it was classy, it was cool, and I think that it is one of the best designed Iron Man suits. Then at number 8 we have the Model 9, which was following the Silver Centurion after Armor Wars. That's when Stark put on the Model 9 for the first time. It didn't have a fancy nickname, but it was an improved technology. It goes back to the red and gold, and I just think that it's a cool look. And that suit was later imbued with magic when he was doing time travel shenanigans, and you know, it increased his power levels by a bunch of percentages, and I think that it is, you know, a cool back to basics design, but still advanced, and that's why I have it at the number 8. So at number 9 we have the Model 7 Stealth Armor. Now this predates the Model 8, obviously, with the chameleon effect, so this was just a pure black with red eyes suit that could, it didn't have too many features. It could have the repulsor rays and the bulletproof body and the you know, chameleon sort of stealth effect, and it could fly, but you know, that's really all it could do. But I think it looks really cool, and it served its function, and I just really enjoy the aesthetic of it. And then finally, my number 10 favorite Iron Man armor is the Model 6 Hydro Armor. This is a suit that he wore to go underwater and survive and not rust up. so that he could stop an ecological disaster. And I'm sure he uses it to visit the Submariner in Atlantis if he ever feels the need to. But yeah, the Model 6 Hydro Armor is really cool. It has this feature where he can press a button and eject out of it through the top, because it's a pretty bulky one, and it has like the fishbowl piece to cover his head. And he goes out through the neck port, and he's able to swim away. And that's really cool. And later on, he would add the function of it to the modular armor, so he could, put the hydro suit over top of it. But at that point, he was still wearing the Model 3 when he designed the Model 6. Or I think it was the Model 5. I can't keep track. But it's a really cool design, really cool function. And yeah, I just think that the hydro armor is really cool. So that is my personal top 10 favorite Iron Man armors. So, like I said, feel free to disagree with me or agree with me, whichever you see fit. And yeah, so thank you for listening to the National Timely Action Hour podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Aiden. Stay tuned for future episodes, and check out my YouTube channel, the National Timely Action Hour, to get comic book reviews, movie reviews, and video game gameplays, and all sorts of fun stuff. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.